Plus approximately there. 4, 2, 2, -2.
Yay.
3 is 1, comma, -2. 4 is -3, -6.
Wait, can it be negative?
Yeah, those are the only answers that
Fine.
Slow.
5 and 6.
Yay. I got it right. I get it right. I get it wrong. I got 6 right, but I think it's 7.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh,
0,
no.
-4, -4, -4, 1, 4, 1.
That's our one.
Dude, I only got 2 wrong. That's it. Still 11.
11 and 12.
Wait. I got it right. No. Yeah. Good. What? What? Eli, did you get 13? I got 14.
I got 13.
I don't even know how. I got
15, 16.
Yeah. I don't know how I get this is the one that's sitting there like working out. What says 14. Oh, that's great. I got 18 wrong. Alright.
Number 17. New York cheesecake, $5. Chocolate marble cheesecake, $11. 18. Windflower balls, $4. Focus, $4.
I got one right.
I got 18, bro.
19.
I got 19.
And 11 plus 44.
Yes!
Oh.
20 adult ticket, 11 student ticket, 10.
I get
Knowing that tomorrow's test will be the same stuff, you may want to take note, see what you can do about it.
Oh, yeah, don't do it on that paper.
No. And I will entertain the question. Come on, children. This is not rocket science. Just ask the mark from big interesting to see one of the primaries today. New Hampshire, what do you think Alright, Ariel, what's your questions? Number 4, let me see if I can find number 4. Number 4?
Today.
Number 4.
Can you make this a little larger?
Number 4. Number 4. My favorite tool this year that I've learned is this little snippet guy. He's the best. There's so many. Alright, Ariel. So we got this right here, right? And this is solving by substitution, correct? Is that not right, or is it elimination? Substitution. It has to be substitution. So you know that y equals this, correct? So you put that in for y right here. And keeping this negatives and positives all straight is part of this here. So I'm going to rewrite everything except for the letter y. I'm going to put a parenthesis and substitute in what y equals. So negative x minus 2, and there's the y, so I stick a parenthesis there that has 6x plus 12 in it, and that equals 15. Did you get that far?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's where people go wrong. It's a common mistake I see in 7th grade, 8th grade, whatever. Okay, the negative x stays. This is a negative 2 or a minus 2 times both of those things, so they're going to change signs. Negative 2 times 6x is a negative 12x, and a negative 2 times a positive 12 is a negative 24. This is usually where people go wrong when they do that. Now simplifying and solving, I can put together these two x terms. Negative x and a negative 12x is negative 13x's minus 24 equals 15. You add 24, you end up with 39, which is good because 13 goes into 39. Divide by a negative 13, divide by a negative 13, x is going to be negative 3. Stop me where you got confused.
I got all that right. I don't understand.
You did get negative 3 or you did get negative 3? Which part?
I got negative 4.
Did you get 39 over here?
Yeah.
Did you get 13?
Yeah.
Well, that's 3. You can't change your division. And then people, once you know this, people are still struggling with this. It doesn't matter. You're going to put negative 3 in for x in one of those two equations. And one of them already is solved for y, so I put that in for that x. I'm sorry, I guess I put it in for that x right there because it's y equals whatever. Y equals 6 times what you said x is plus 12. Negative 18 plus 12 is a negative 6 for y. And they'll write it in the book, they have it as negative 3 times negative 6 because it's written as whatever. Jacob.
Well, I did it for, when I got negative 3.
Yeah, you can put it in the other one, it'll still
I
work.
know, but
You didn't get it to work, or?
no, I got negative, I got negative 9.
Well, did you have a negative 3, so this ended up being a positive 3?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, and then you'd subtract 3 from that, so you actually get 12 over here.
Oh,
And then negative 2 and 12 is 6. So that's what, this is all about those negatives and positives things there. Grace?
3.
3. Is that the one just before this?
Yeah.
Anybody else? What, 3?
no.
No.
Well, unfortunately, everybody makes different mistakes on different problems. But I'll do 3 here real quick, because it's always good to. So Grace, this one again, it's already solved for y, correct? Did you put that in for y?
Yeah.
So you ended up with a 4x minus 5 times what y is? Equals a negative 6. What'd you get when you multiplied through by the 5x?
I got a negative 13x.
You get a positive 5? Again, you can put these two x's together. 4x minus 15x is a negative 11x. You subtract 5 over here, subtract 5 over there, you get a negative 11 over there as well. Is that where you went wrong?
Yeah, I divided that.
No, that's addition subtraction. You only divide when you get to the end and you try to separate this. So it's negative 11 divided by negative 11, which is a positive 1 for x. Put 1 in for x there. 3 times 1 is 3, minus 1 is 2, so y. Christine,
Number 9.
lucky number 9. I was hoping somebody would ask for number 9, but though I don't have any idea what it is. Oh, there's another 9. Oh, okay. This one's a little different in that it is not. Okay, when you have this, you need to look at these, and it doesn't matter what, you got to figure out, again, you're looking for opposites. I need to manipulate, change these equations so that I have like a positive 10 and a negative 10, or a negative 15 and a positive 15. So you have to look at it. You're going to have to do something to both of them because they're not factors of each other or multiples of each other. So it's up to you. The easiest one I would say is if I have a 4 and a 3, I would change them to what? The smallest thing that both 4 and 3 go into is 12. So I'm going to multiply the top by 3's and the bottoms all by 4's. And they're already opposites, so you don't have to worry about negatives or positives. So you end up on top with 12x plus 18x equals negative 30. Is that what you got, Christina?
No, 18y.
What?
18y.
I did not. That's what I was. 18y. And on the bottom you end up with negative 12x, which is good, minus 28y equals 20. And this is exactly what you wanted to happen. The x's are going to cross off. 18y minus 28y is a negative 10y. And negative 30 plus 20 is a negative 10. Dividing both by negative 10's, y then should equal the number 1. And unfortunately, this from here, it's a little tougher because it's not solved for a letter, but you're going to put 1 in for y in either one of those two equations. I'll do the top one. 4x plus 6 times what y is, which is 1, equals negative 10. 4x plus 6 equals negative 10. Subtract 6, you get negative 16. So 4x equals negative 16. X equals negative 4. So the book will list it as negative 4 comma 1 because it's an answer that fits both of those equations. Jake, sir?
On our test sheet, can we put it like x and then or x equals?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. But also
As opposed to giving it as a coordinate.
yeah. Remember 14.
Number 14.
11, 12, 14. I love that one, Jake. These are some of my favorite math problems, by the way. I'm sure you feel the same. Whoop. That's a good sized problem right there. Alright, so there's what you got, correct? You had no trouble graphing these? These are both equal to, so they're both going to be solid lines. Fortunately, the y is positive in both, so you're not going to have to flip signs. So first one is crosses the y-axis at positive 1, has a negative 1/3 slope, so it goes up 1 over 3, or down 1 over 3, however you want. You're going to get this line here. You are shading the smaller side of that because it's less than. So here, where does y get smaller? Going this way. So you're going to shade this part. I should have changed my thing there. Graphing the second one, crosses at negative 3 on the y-axis, my y-intercept. Negative 5/3 slope, which means it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1, 2, 3, going downhill still. So they have that point right there. Negative 5/3 slope. And you are shading on the greater than side of the y-axis. So from here you're shading the upside, which is this. And the part that gets double shaded is your answer, which in this case appears to be right here. Well,
I think I messed up. Because I thought you said whenever something is negative on that.
only when the y is.
Oh.
If this y would have been negative, I would switch that sign and shade on the other side. And that's not going to happen when it's in slope-intercept form. It's going to happen when it's in standard form, like some of those other ones.
That's fine.
Only the y, because the y is all you're concerned about. Calvin?
So, if you were doing solving by substitution or elimination, and you switched around the x and y, would that be wrong?
You just give me just for example of what you're saying.
Like if like for
If you put the
number,
Y first in the coordinate instead of the X.
yeah, like for number 4.
Well, it should be yes. If you're gonna write in coordinate form, the X has to go first. If you're putting it in a parenthesis, you get listing the answer. Or if you're working with an equation or an inequality. You would help me if you just told me what you're talking about. Let's say, give me for example, let's say you've got what? 2x minus 3y equals 18 or something? Is it standard form or slope-intercept form? When we talk about inequalities, what do we know?
Like,
How about a problem number from today?
yeah, like number 4 or something.
Problem number 4. What happened to 4? Yeah, problem number 4.
And you were like to X equals negative 3 if you would put that into Y.
Yeah, it'll be wrong. You'll get a completely wrong answer. You gotta put it in for the right one, otherwise it'll be way slightly askew. Alex Knopf.
16.
Number 16. Number 16. Number 16. Yeah, now see, here's one right off the bat, children. I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, there's a negative y. When I graph that thing, it's not going to be greater than, I have to switch to left. Y cannot be. Otherwise, in standard form, you should be able to graph it. Let's do the first one there. I cover up the y. X equals negative 3/2. Again, this is not an exact, graphing is not your super exact sort of thing, but the best we can do where x is negative 3/2 would be halfway between negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 3/2 is negative 1 1/2. So I'm just going to put that point there. It doesn't have to be spot on, but it's going to be close. I put 0 in for x, and y equals positive 1. It is equal to, so it's a solid line. And like I said, since y is negative, that sign is going to change and you're shading the lower half of it. So you're going to shade this side of the graph. For the second one, kind of the same thing is true. We're just going to do some estimating here. If 2x equals negative 9, x equals negative 4.5. So here's negative 4.5. 0 in for x, y equals negative 3. It is not equal to, so you're going to do the dash line bit. And it says to shade the greater than side of the y-axis, so I'm going to shade everything from here on up. So it's going to look like this. And the part that is double shaded on this one ends up going from here up to there. All the answers that would fit. And understand, people, any point in here solves both of those. Is an answer to both of those. There's an infinite amount of answers to that. That's why you shade it. Any point out here fits one but not the other. Let's fake might have it. Sam.
20.
I was hoping for 20. I love 20. Is that a word story problem? Yeah. This is what it's all about right here. Number 20. Number 20. Number 20. Holy, you totally got me. How's that? No, if I want, but I this up. Alright. Step number 1, Sammy, is to define what variables you're looking for. And I would say that you got adult tickets and student tickets, so adult I would put as the letter A. And you were asking how much they cost. It's the price of an adult ticket. And S would be the price of a student ticket. and making two equations from that. If you sell 5 adults and 5 students, 5 adults plus 5 students, it's going to cost you $105. If you sell 3 adult tickets and 11 student tickets, it's going to cost you $143. Did you get that far, Sammy? Okay. And here again, this is one of those where neither one of them is a multiple of the other, so it's going to be a little tougher because you're going to have to do something to both of them. And it's up to you what you want to do. I would pick the smaller two numbers and go, okay, what's the smallest thing 5 and 3 going to? 15. And they're the same, so you need to make one of them negative and one positive. So I would probably make the top one the negative because I think that'll give me a smaller, I don't know, let's just try it. I would go, so this is negative 3's, correct? And this one is positive 5's, multiplied by 5's. My new equations are going to be negative 15a minus 15s equals negative 315. And the second one is going to be 15a plus 55s equals 15, 121 to 715, hopefully. And the a's go away. 55 minus 15 is 40s, and 715 minus 315 is 400. Divide by your 40. The reason you have those labels there, you know that a student ticket, S, equals $10. And then you just plug that into your little thing here. You know, 5 times $10 is $50. Subtract it from there, you end up with what, $55. 5 goes into 55. An adult ticket would be $11. Trust me. Where did we go wrong, Sandy? Just doing this? Yeah, these multi-step things, people, it's just kind of an exact sort of thing. One negative, one positive, and life's over. It's a lot of work to get them done. Who thinks I got a firm grasp of this? Anybody? You think that you can? I mean, it's not. There's just a blend of a bunch of different things. Your mind has to be focused and organized in all this. Neat and organized. It's not easy stuff, and yet it's not difficult. I mean, it's nothing more than multiplying and dividing. Christine!
Did you go through 15?
Did I do 15 already? I didn't. Lab 15 again is, oh no, I didn't want to push that. 15. Oh, this one's kind of small. Bigger. Again, the first thing I always look for is, are there some negative y's to watch out for? Yes, there is. The top one's going to be opposite. The graph in this should be pretty easy because here x-intercept is 3, y-intercept is negative 3. Negative y equals 3, so y equals negative 3. So there's that, and it isn't a solid line because it is equal to. You are shading what side of that? The bottom, because the y is negative. Negative y changes that to its opposite, so you are shading this side of that line. You don't have a very big area to work with now. Okay. Second one, y is positive, so that makes life good. What is this? The x-intercept, Christine, is what? If 3x equals 1, x is going to equal 1 divided by 3, which is 1/3. So here at 1/3 again, it's not exact. You can just put a little dot there. Y equals 1. So you end up with this thing, which yours should be, and it's equal. So we'll try and see if we can slice this. We'll call that good. And y is less than. which means here where it crosses the y-axis, you're shading the bottom, the less than part, so it's going to look like this. And then looking for the place where it's an overlap, not a very big area. It's right. Here is my one, here's my other. It's just this little pie piece right here. All that gets double shaded. G rounding 3.
I just have
GR3. That's what I'm gonna call you. What's that? Wait, is there who's the whatever 3 in football?
RG.
RG3. You're just GR3.
I was wondering if, like, on the test, we do the shaded area, are we going to use a highlighter to do it, or if we use 2 different colors?
You could use just right as long as you shade it in really dark, I won't see it. I mean, you can use one pencil if you want. I don't care. However you do it so that it's kind of obvious. I mean, if you want to use highlighter, if you want to use, even if you did pencil and you just shaded this really darkly, I would still, believe me, I'll be able to tell unless it's not noticeable. Christine.
18.
18. 18. By the way, everybody say hi to Alexa, because I'm sure she'll be the first one to watch this.
Hi, Alexa.
We hope you feel
Take your
better.
math test.
Take your math test. Take your math test.
That would be Jake, he's very inconsiderate. Just that way.
I know. He's just.
Stefan and Michaela are selling flower bulbs. So you're talking about windflower bulbs and crocus bulbs, so I'm hoping you probably figured your variables would be W for the wind. Again, you're looking for how much the cost, and the crocus, $1 for the crocus. And you end up with 1 bag of windflowers plus 8 bags of crocuses. That was a total cost of $36. And the other one was 8 bags of the W plus 8 packages of the crocus for $64. So, Christine, to get something to drop out, what would be the easiest thing to do?
The bottom side of the one.
Yeah. Now, yes, I would go with that, but if I'm looking at this, I might multiply the top by negative because then I'm going to end up with not a negative answer for both of these, you know what I'm saying? Since it doesn't matter which one you multiply by negative, this would be a negative and a bigger positive, so you know, you can do it either way, it's just that I think working with fewer negatives probably makes your life a little easier. So I'm going to multiply these by negative, 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 and then these go away, you end up with 7W equals, if you subtract those two, what is it, 38? No, 28? No, 28. 28. So 7W equals 28, ends up being positive, divide by 7, divide by 7. The cost of a windflower is $4. Put that in for, doesn't matter which one, I'll probably do this one just because. 8 times $4 plus 8 times C equals 64. 32 plus 8C equals 64. Subtract 32, you get 32. C goes in. It's $4. Do I need to do that more? We're done. Are we done now? Are we done now? You guys already reading this book? Fahrenheit
Eli.
451.
Come on, Eli. Oh, he should be.
Wake up, Smith. That's it? Nobody got anything?
For me, 9.
And do the stop. This crazy thing. Oh no.
Didn't even know.